So today we are going to here to discuss a news. So let's go for the news once. With no transport or money, migrant workers walk 20 kilometers to board flight at Chennai airport. The workers from West Bengal were working at a construction site but have no work for 3 months and no wages. At 5 a.m. on Sunday, 7 men from Kumanan packed their bags and began walking from their camp. 7 hours later, drained and starving, they reached Chennai airport to board a flight to Kolkata. From there, they have to travel for a day by bus to return to their village. We have exhausted all the money we had saved to book our flight tickets. We didn't get help from anyone to drop us at airport too because of intense lockdown. We knew that there was no other option and hence decided to walk to the airport. We have taken water, so whenever we got hungry midway, we just drank water to fill our stomachs and walked along, says 22-year-old A. Badirul, who has been working at a construction site in the city for the last year. Since construction work has been disrupted for the last 3 months, the workers had no wages. We have been spending money on buying food and water, and each of us paid 5,000 for the flight fare and saved some for the bus ticket too. So we didn't have any money to get to the airport, he says. For the last 3 months, the men have been growing more anxious by the day after hearing the surge in the number of cases in Chennai. Abdul Martin, a 22-year-old migrant worker, also from West Bengal, says that they have been living in fear, wondering if they would return home at all. Our employee was not keen on us going back. But how long can we manage? 1 or 2 days we survive without food. But beyond that, what do we do? Our money was slowly getting depleted, and on many days we would have just had one meal to keep us going, he says. Will they return to Chennai? Yes, they say. When the city returns to normal and when construction activity is back in full swing and when they find a job, they say they may come back here. People of Chennai have been kind to us in the time we lived here, so we wouldn't mind coming back, but we don't know when that will happen. For now, we want to return to our village and see our families, he adds. So this is the news, and this news completely tells about the West Bengal workers who have been working at the construction site and had no work for 3 months, and so they had no wages to live. So this is where that the time it was a day of Sunday at 5 a.m. 7 men of Kumanan started walking. That is, they started walking to board a flight to Kolkata to the Chennai airport. Even after then, they had to get a bus to return to their village. So a 22-year-old man, A. Badirul, who has been working at the construction site for this in the Chennai city for last year, tells that all the money they had or they saved has been exhausted. That is, here the word exhausted is used. The meaning completely used up. So the money they had been saving or they had earned has been completely used up, and they had no money. So they had no option they had to walk to the airport. So they started walking. They even did not have food. They just had some water, so that on the way, if they feel hungry, they can fill their stomachs with water. This case was so worse because for 3 months these workers had no work, and so they had no wages. So he also says that they have been spending money on buying water and food. So without salary, they had to spend their money which they have been saving for food and water. At the same time, each of the migrant worker has to pay 5,000 for the flight fare, and some of them saved some money for the bus tickets too, because they had to travel 1 hour to reach their village. So here, Abdul Martin, a 22-year-old migrant worker also from West Bengal, says that this is going so worse, that the situation of them is going so worse, and he is making a keen one that our employee was not keen on us going back. So this sentence, the sentence said by Abdul Martin means that so every workers will have their own employer. They just work under some people. So the person who was their employer was not keen on taking them back to their villages. So he asked, but so they are in the pathetic condition that how long could we can we manage? He's asking, but how long could we manage? So without money and food, so further steps for them were difficult, and they were far away from their family too. So he's asking for one. They had been. He also says that they had been eating just one day for meal, just for one day, one meal to keep their going, because they had to save some money for their return. So when the question asked by the reporter, will they return to Chennai? For this question, their people has been answering. That is, the migrant workers have answered that yes, they are going to return, but they have told that when the people, when the situation or this pathetic condition comes back to the normal state, and when they find a job here in the city, they'll come back. They also tells that the people of Chennai were very kind to them when they lived here, or when they were working here. The people of Chennai were very kind towards them, so they wouldn't mind back coming here. So so here some of the sentences are very cool and which can be very used. So we have exhausted all the money. Exhausted is something that throwing away something, of it has been taken away. So but here it is used in the way completely used up. That is, they have completely used all the money. So the money which they had has come out of their hand, and it has completely been spent. So here they have used these sentences, and the direct speech, here some of the direct speech of the persons who told, that is A. Badral and Abdul Martin. So some certain sentences which they has been used as their direct speech as a very standard. So here some the sentence, our employer was not keen on going back. So here it was not on keen. So they are telling that it was not a very important, that is, employer was not showing much importance for their return to their village. So he was not keen on it. So he is not paying any much attention towards these workers to return to their village. So that's all. Here once again we come again that this news is completely about the migrant workers who are not suffering, who are actually suffering from shortage of money, so that there is no transportation facilities for them to return to their village. And we'll see in the next video with a new news. Thank you.